Do pedigrees look like ancient hieroglyphics to you? In this video, I'll reveal a quick and easy tip to decode pedigrees, and I have a great flowchart for you to use. Our learning objectives are to understand basic pedigree symbols, then to apply techniques for analyzing pedigrees, and we'll do some solutions for some pedigree problems. Let's get started. Be sure to have your whiteboards handy. You can also use some scratch paper and something to write with. It can help you to process these questions. With pedigrees, the shaded shapes would represent individuals who are affected with a disease. For instance, this black circle would be an affected individual. The open shapes represent those who are unaffected. Circles represent females, and then the squares for males. All right, so now that we know what the shapes mean, you'll also need to get a good understanding for inheritance. Check out my last video over inheritance. With this particular pedigree, we see that the mother here is unaffected. We also have the father who is unaffected. One child, this male, is also unaffected. There's one female who is affected. When we use this flow chart, the first question we're asking, are only males affected? And here we see that a female is affected, so we can go to the next step, which is no. In the second step, it says, is there an affected child with an unaffected father and an unaffected mother? When we look at our chart, we see that that is in fact what we have. So this child is affected, but the mother and the father are unaffected. So that would be a yes. And if we answer yes, that means this pedigree shows autosomal recessive inheritance. Let's try the next question. I want to give you another tip. And that tip is if you see that the generations have at least one individual with the disorder or the disease, then that's likely to be dominant. For recessive traits, they may skip a generation. And to understand how the pedigrees are organized, we have the first generation at the top here. And so this level is first generation, and then second generation right below that. And then we have our third generation. Okay. Let's start at the top. So are only males affected? And again, we see that both males and females are affected. So the answer to that one is going to be no. That means we can move to question number 2. Is there an affected child with an unaffected father and an unaffected mother? So here we have a mother and father who are unaffected, but they don't have any affected children. So the answer for this would be no. That means we can go to number 3. Do affected males pass the disease to all their daughters and not any sons? For this, we want to look at the shaded squares. And so here we have a shaded square. Those aha moments are so special. Let me know in the chat if you've had an aha moment during this session. And also, like, share, and subscribe. That will help me to grow my channel. Let's get back to the problem. Do affected males pass to all their daughters and not any sons? So let's find our affected males. Those will be the shaded squares. And then we look at their offspring. So this affected male does have an affected daughter and an affected son. That's the same with this affected male, an affected daughter and an affected son. The answer to this is no. That means it's an autosomal dominant type of inheritance. Okay. Let's go to the last question. Step 1, are only males affected? And if we look closely, we see both males and females are shaded in. So the answer here is no. Then we go to step 2. Is there an affected child with an unaffected father and an unaffected mother? So when we look at our affected children, there's none who have both parents who are unaffected. So the answer here would be no. Now we move to step 3. Do the affected males pass to all the daughters and not any sons? Let's identify our affected males here and here. And this male has 2 daughters who are affected and then 2 sons who are unaffected. And this other male is affected and he has a daughter who is affected. So the answer here is yes. So that would be a sex-linked dominant type of inheritance. I hope you learned something new today. Let's get closer to your educational goals. We can do that by a one-on-one session. I also do group sessions. Check below for my details. I look forward to joining up with you. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe. That helps me to grow my channel. Bye.